Ron DeSantis is running for president. Okay, fine, that's probably not a huge shocker, but it is a pretty unlikely story. 5 years ago, DeSantis was a relatively unknown congressman. Now, he's one of the handful of people that has a good chance to become the next president of the United States, according to most polls. But how did we get here? Here are 3 moments that put DeSantis in the national conversation. Trump endorses DeSantis. The first moment Ron DeSantis really became a national figure was in late 2017, when then-President Donald Trump tweeted that DeSantis would make a great governor. That tweet came before DeSantis even entered the governor's race. But his relationship with Trump would come to define the contest. Remember the famous ad where DeSantis teaches one of his kids to build the wall with blocks?
Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads stories.
DeSantis rode that Trump endorsement to a win in the Republican primary, and then a narrow victory against Democratic opponent Andrew Gillum. You probably knew DeSantis was a Trump guy at the beginning. But what you probably didn't know is that at the beginning of his term, he didn't really govern like one. He won bipartisan compliments for putting a Democratic state representative in his administration. He put a bunch of money toward environmental programs and stopped the state's fight against smokable medical marijuana. Far from the splashy culture war proposals he's all about now,
Woke virus. Change operations on minors.
DeSantis' big issue in those early days was fighting toxic algae blooms. The coronavirus pandemic hits. Everything changed when the coronavirus hit Florida. But not immediately. At first, DeSantis acted like a lot of other governors. He closed schools and ordered gyms, restaurants, and bars to refuse in-person service. He started calling for businesses to reopen in May of 2020 and ordered everything fully reopened by the fall. His administration offered kids the chance to go to school in person in the late summer of 2020, as cases hit a then record high. By 2021, DeSantis had made his handling of the pandemic a calling card. That year, he signed a law banning local mask mandates and vaccine requirements. The pandemic is really when DeSantis became a fixture in the national headlines. People became fascinated by Florida, how open it was, how brash DeSantis' statements were, and how different his approach was from other governors of large states.
But we will never do any of these lockdowns again.
After the pandemic, DeSantis started to get national headlines for many of his culture war proposals, such as banning transgender females from women and girls scholastic sports, his support for stringent abortion bans, his attempt to overhaul higher education, his support for changing election laws, his attempts to open up libel laws, his crackdown on protests. But nothing has defined his dedication to the culture wars like his fight with Disney. The short version is that DeSantis championed a measure, the Parental Rights in Education law, that limited instruction on gender and sexuality for kids in younger grades. Disney said it didn't like that bill, arguing it discriminated against LGBTQ+ people, and vowed to work toward its repeal. DeSantis didn't like that, so he directed the legislature to essentially take away some of the special government privileges that Disney has had for more than half a century, and blah, 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 yada, yada. Now the two are basically suing each other.
Today, the corporate kingdom finally comes to an end.
This episode typifies how DeSantis operates. He's determined, he's stubborn, and he knows what voters want to see, especially Republican voters. Lots of people don't like large corporations weighing in on social issues, and DeSantis knows that, so he's meeting the mouse in a court of law while he runs for president. We at the Tampa Bay Times plan to be there every step of the way. Thanks for watching.